due to the amount of times that you guys have been sending me these articles on Instagram, Twitter, and let me know in the comment section all about this whole Frank Warren bankruptcy thing. So quite clearly you guys want my comments on it. So anyway, in the description box, I shall post the article. It's from The Sun. How much validity is this? We don't know. We know that The Sun have been guilty of over-exaggerating things in the past. So who exactly knows? But let's just take it as face value that there's some truth to it, okay? So I suppose what the moral of this is that The Sun are claiming that the tax office, the HMRC, are saying that Frank Warren owes a whole lot of tax. And they've filed papers for him to declare bankruptcy, all that kind of thing. And as of yet, he has yet to accept the papers. And one of their reasons being is because he's been out in America helping promote the Wilder vs. Fury event, all that kind of thing. So if there's any kind of truth to it, let's just go with that one. And listen, Frank is a very, very proud man. Okay, now I've been critical of a lot of his shows. And if any of this is true, this will be why. Okay, and this is the bare bones of it, and it's very, very simple, easy fix for him to do. Okay, he is in a position where he can turn it all around, where all he's got to do is look at it from a fan's perspective. From me, from you, from all boxing fans, what do we want? What are we willing to pay for? And I don't know whether Frank Warren's got people around him that's been around him for many, many years and he's shown loyalty, because Frank Warren does talk a lot about loyalty. And I know that there has been some conflicts between him and fighters where he's had to sue fighters in the past through breach of contract and things like that. And this article explains one of them with like Ricky Burns, and Frank Warren refused to pay the lawyers because he made no net profit, all that kind of thing. And this kind of thing's been happening quite a bit. Fighters want out of their contracts for whatever reason. Now, Frank Warren, he's been pretty much funding Box Nation since its birth and making one hell of a loss. I don't know what the state of it is now. I imagine not so good, especially with all his fighters, Queensberry Promotion fighters, are now fighting on BT Sport. Box Nation will show the top ranked shows, okay, from ESPN, all that kind of thing. How much influence is that on the British public to carry on paying, say, £10 a month for that? Probably not too much. I mean, considering that Top Rank don't have a whole plethora of talent that people I can look at and go, yeah, I want to watch that, I want to watch that. I mean, how much interest is there really on Lomachenko versus Pedraza? There's a bit of interest, but to stay at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to watch it, probably not. So I think if there is truth to any of this, a lot of it is down to things like that, where he is paying Peter and robbing Paul and things like that, as in he's taking money from his own bank account that he doesn't really have in order to keep boxing on TV, in order to keep on putting on shows where he's not making money as well. I mean, there's no way that you can tell me that with all the money that he's putting in for certain shows and then they cancel and they fold, that he's not losing any kind of money. Of course, there's insurances and things, but he wouldn't be getting that much. I mean, let's be honest. And now he's been given a bit of a nest egg, if you like, or a certain amount of money per show that he can put on. And I know that in this day and age, fighters want, every time that they fight, they want life-changing money. Okay, gone are the days where they're looking at, okay, so I'll take this, this, and this, and hopefully one day get that. They want it now. They want the big fight now. And they're going into the big fights, not necessarily to win, but just so they can say, well, at least now I've guaranteed my future. And I understand where it's all coming from, and it isn't helping Frank Warren's situation with the likes of Eddie Hearn, of course, Matchroom, spending out all this money and putting on massive shows, and people are watching them shows rather than watching the Frank Warren shows. So I do understand, but it's a very, very simple turnaround if he only listens. If he only takes a step back and stop listening to the people that are around him who, in my opinion, I don't think they really know what it is that the public want. And Frank Warren could well be guilty of that. Frank Warren's a very, very proud man. Hence the reason why he probably hasn't accepted the bankruptcy forms. He's a proud man. He wants turnaround. And the whole Wilder vs. Fury thing is almost a way to help him relieve some of that. Obviously, I don't know what kind of cut he's getting from it. Is he getting any kind of cut from the American market? Is it just a UK market? Who knows what it could possibly be. But ultimately, he shouldn't just be relying on an event to do this. And I've been critical of Frank Warren shows, and people say I'm a Frank Warren hater. Not at all. Frank Warren for years and years and years put on great great shows. I used to love the rivalry between Frank Warren and Barry Hearn. I mean, the very first boxing match I ever watched on TV, which kind of like got me into boxing, I suppose, was Barry McGuigan's final fight against Jim McDonnell. And the only reason that I remember this fight is because for the very first time, now my dad is a complete arse, okay, but that's like the only kind of time that I actually seen him animated towards the TV screen, having to go at the referee, telling Barry to do this and that and the other, because my dad was like a big Barry McGuigan fan. Ultimately, he lost that last fight, but it was a Frank Warren fighter, Jim McDonnell, Barry McGuigan, and Barry Hearn fighter, Jim McDonnell, okay? And listen, that's pretty much where my whole kind of thing for boxing came from, because I've seen a little bit of passion from a somewhat seclusive and just angry person of my dad. Now, to turn things around for Frank, he needs to create that in every household. Okay, he needs to try and do what he can, not just put on a show for the sake of a show. And there's plenty of examples out there, and it's very, very easy if he just stops listening to the people around him and saying, right, okay, we'll do this, we'll do that. We'll just kind of like ease through and hopefully we make a bit of money on it. The only way that Frank, Eddie, or any promoter is going to make money is if people, the punters, you, me, the boxing fans, tune in to watch, buy the tickets, buy the merchandise, whatever else it may be. That's the only way he's going to make money. By giving the impression that you don't care, people are just not going to buy it. And it's not that he doesn't care. Of course he cares. He wants to put on the best shows that he can. But he's got people around him, in my opinion, that don't know what the fans want. Eddie Hearn is very clued up with what the fans want. He's up to date with what the fans want. And that's why fans know a lot of the Matchroom stable, but don't know a lot about Frank Warren's stable. Frank Warren has got some quality fighters. But the problem is when he's putting them on events, they're not going in against anybody of any kind of note. Now, I know that in order to put on great headliners and great shows, you've got to pay out a lot of money, right? And it's difficult when you don't have the money. But sometimes you've got to take the gamble knowing what the fan wants, because if the fan wants to watch it, the fan will pay for it. Therefore, you get the money back. The idea is to sell out an arena. If you can sell out an arena, that's a very good indication that people are going to watch it on TV. If you're struggling to sell out an arena, then you're going to be struggling for people to be watching it on TV. And that's just basic rules of it. Now, I kind of do know a little bit about certain things on here. I mean, my background is project management, so it's something that I know how to do, make companies money. Now, admittedly, like when I was doing it, I wasn't making money out myself. I was getting a standard wage. Okay. Ultimately, if the company made a crap load of money, I never really got a bonus out of it. Okay. But I was always very good at it. And boxing is something that is very, very simple. If only Frank would just listen to the fans. When you've got someone like Anthony Yard, people like Anthony Yard, people believe in Anthony Yard, but people are not going to watch Anthony Yard if he's fighting the kind of level that he's fighting at. And it's okay for him being a hardcore fan, been around for years, saying, yeah, but the opponent that he is, he's ranked here and ranked there and he's ranked above. So no, it's not about that. It's not about rankings. It's about fights that fans want to see fighter A versus fighter B. For example, Anthony Yard, fight Ricky Summers, fight Jose Byrne, fight Joshua Buatsi, fight one of these guys, any one of them, do it next. This WBO European title thing means nothing to the boxing fan, and that's the absolute truth. It means absolutely nothing, Frank. And yes, I understand that he's still a work in progress. But nobody's asking him to fight world level. Nobody's asking him to go in there and take on Bivol or Beterbiev or Kovalev or Alvarez, etc. Nobody's asking him to do that. Just British level, clean up. If you clean up British level, he becomes a superstar. When you've got a superstar, then that's when that guy is headline material. That's when that guy is filling out arenas. That's when money's then going into your pocket. In other words, because promoter, managers, etc. get a cut of what he makes. It's very simple. Daniel Dubois, you've got Nathan Gorman. Nathan Gorman's been calling out Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois says, yeah, he's up for that fight. So make the fight. Now again, it's a catch-22. What happens to the loser? Well, nothing happens to the loser. They carry on with what they're doing currently. is what happens. You take a risk. Now, Frank Warren, he does put his fighters in against his fighters. For example, O'Hara Davis versus Jack Catterall. Great. But what about the rest of the card? It's so many things that's so easy to fix. He just doesn't see it. He can't see the forest for the trees. He just can't do it. But ultimately, I mean, is this story true? Don't know. I mean, is he going to accept bankruptcy? Don't know. Again, a lot of it's going to be dependent on what's going to happen, for example, with, say, Billy Joe Saunders. Obviously, he's got stripped. What's he doing? He's too inactive. Who's he fighting? There's rumours of Martin Murray. People don't really want to see Martin Murray. I do, because I like Martin Murray and I like Billy Joe Saunders. I like that fight. But fans as a whole, not bothered about it. They want to see Billy Joe Saunders or Martin Murray in with Jamal Charlo or Triple G, Canelo, these kind of like level guys. Or Martin Murray versus Gary Spike O'Sullivan, for example, is a very good fight. It's a sellable fight. But Frank doesn't seem to see this. And it's so easy to fix. It's so easy to fix. Eddie Hearn Matchroom are so far ahead right now, it's almost like they're getting further and further and Frank isn't closing the gap. And a lot of his fights and his events are shutting down. They're not going forward. They're getting cancelled. But again, easy fix. Project management. Have a contingency plan. Everything in life, in business, there should be ad hoc. Everything should be there. Everything. So if your main event pulls out, there should be a fight on the card that can step in. It's not difficult. And yes, you do have to spend out a lot of money at times. But ultimately, he can make money. Making money in the boxing game is the easiest thing going right now. Very, very easy. Boxing is hot. There should be no excuses for not making money. All it is bad decisions. Listen to what the fans want. They're the ones paying for it. Have a Q&A with the fans. Sit there in the audience. Have fans Q&A. Let them give you ideas of who they want to see. Who do you want to see Anthony Yarde in with? Who do you want to see Nathan Gorman in there with? Billy Joe Saunders and Martin Murray and Walsh and all these other kind of guys. Who do you want to see them fighting? As in, what is a 50-50 fight as far as the fans are concerned? How confident are your fighters? If your fighters they want a whole heap of money for not doing much, then again, you're going to lose money, aren't you? It's about time Frank Warren turned around to his fighter and said, listen, I've been investing in you for long enough now. I've had enough of being a nice guy. Now it's time for you to give me back. I want you fighting so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so. If you're not good enough, then let's address it right now. But if you're telling me that you're good enough, then show me. I want to make my business booming. I want to make BT Sport booming. And it's not complicated. It's not complicated. All this could be done within 6 months, a complete turnaround. But anyway, as to quite is any of this true, what the Sun is saying, I don't know. I'll put the article in the description as always. Go have a read of it yourself, and hopefully it's not true. As I said, Frank Warren, he's been a great servant for British boxing over the years. A great servant. And it would be unfair to start taking his house off him and things like that. He don't deserve that. You know, he's put a lot into the sport and given a lot to the British fans. You know, he's entitled to something. You know what I mean? Anyway, you drop your thoughts below about it. Click that thumbs up and, of course, subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.